Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well. And I know the big question on everybody's mind is, how are you doing, Mr. Knight? And the answer is, I am doing awesome. I am definitely not going crazy from being in my house by myself. Yeah. Isn't that right, Mr. Grinch? Isn't that right, Mr. Green Power Ranger? Isn't that right, Wilson? Isn't that right, Aphrodite? Isn't that right, Mr. Onion? Isn't that right, Scented Candle? Isn't that right, Mr. Bones? See? They all agree. So what we're going to be talking about today with our film study is we are going to be talking about conflict. So a conflict is a goal that needs to be achieved, an obstacle that needs to be overcome, or a problem that needs to be solved in a story. 95% of the stories that we tell in films are conflict-based. There is something about us being human that finds it very, very intriguing and very, very entertaining to watch somebody try to achieve a goal. And that's been the base of our storytelling for thousands of years. So not only will a filmmaker use a conflict to create suspense and interest in the story, but they will also have some sort of consequence. So something bad that is going to happen if the conflict is not resolved. And then on top of that, not only will they have a conflict and a consequence, they'll usually have a timeline. So a certain amount of time that the conflict can be resolved as well. So let's take, for example, the movie Back to the Future. The main character, Marty McFly, has interfered with his parents' first meeting. The conflict is that he's trying to get his parents back together, because the consequence is, if he doesn't do that, he is going to start to disappear and eventually disappear completely from existence. In this movie, there's a timeline as well. Marty McFly is only in the year 1955 for 1 week, and then he has a very small window of getting back to the future. It's those three things, the conflict, the consequence, and the timeline, that allow for a very suspenseful film and a story that the audience is going to be invested in. I had a film professor once that said, when you're writing a movie, chase your main character up into a tree and then start throwing rocks at them. And what that means is, when you're writing a movie, you want to create a very bad situation for your character and then just start making it worse. So your task for today is that movie that you watched for your film study, we're going to start analyzing the conflict within it. So you're going to start to think about, what is the problem inside of that movie that is trying to be fixed? You're going to think about, what is the consequence if that problem is not resolved? And you're going to identify whether or not there is some sort of timeline. You can answer those questions in several different ways. You can write it down on paper and take a picture and send it to me in the chat function of Teams. You can download that form and then fill out all the questions and then submit it using the assignments function. Or you can download that document, fill it in, and then you can share it with me on OneDrive. If you guys have any sort of problem submitting anything, please contact me and let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.